Welcome to the afterlife. You've been given a second chance, reborn as a Quetzalcoatlus. You awaken in the late Cretaceous, a world raw, dangerous. If everything goes right, you will grow into one of the largest animals ever to take to the sky. But that "if" is doing a lot of work. Right now, you're buried about 20 centimeters underground, sealed inside a soft, warm, fragile egg. One curious predator, one careless step. And your story ends before it even begins. Survival starts with one simple task: get out. You strain, you push, the shell breaks, it gives way. You force yourself into the open air. That doesn't mean you're safe, not even close. You're barely bigger than a pigeon, bite-sized to almost everything around you. The only comfort? You hatch with wings already strong enough to fly. The problem? You have absolutely no idea how to use them. Until that clicks, you move like everything else, on foot. And in a forest like this, wandering without purpose is a fast track to getting killed. That's where your mother comes in. She watches, she guards, she keeps threats at bay. For now. Protection isn't unconditional. Show weakness, hesitation, fall behind, and she won't think twice about eating you herself. You've already seen it happen. It was Kevin. He took too long to hatch. Now he's lunch. Harsh? Absolutely. But better his energy stays in the family than feeds something else. With that lesson learned, training continues. You try again, and again, and again. Maybe the issue isn't strength. Maybe it's height. Maybe flat ground is the problem. So, who jumps first? You leap. You fall. You survive, probably. After nearly a week of bruises, stumbles, and near disasters, something finally clicks. Your wings catch air, the ground drops away. You're airborne. You're actually flying. The triumph lasts about half a second, because now you realize something. Danger doesn't just come from the ground anymore. Above, below, behind, the sky is crowded with predators. And strangely, the biggest threat isn't other pterosaurs. It's flying dinosaurs. Early birds. They aren't massive. The largest are only eagle-sized. The real danger is how they move. Feathers shift mid-flight, flex, adjust, tight turns, sudden dives, instant corrections. Your wings, by comparison, are vast sheets of skin, stretched from fingers to legs, perfect for soaring, awful for reacting when something comes straight at your face. Still, you have one advantage: size. Eventually. Unlike birds, pterosaurs don't specialize their limbs. Birds separate duties: legs for walking, wings for flying. You use all four limbs for everything: walking, launching, flying. It's brutally efficient. It's why, one day, you'll reach sizes no bird ever could. But today, you're small, and that means they rule the sky. Another hatchling nearby learns that the hard way. You don't wait to watch the outcome. You slip into cover before the attacker decides to come back for seconds. This forest becomes home for the next few years. The trees shield you from threats on the ground. Dense underbrush gives you endless places to vanish when danger approaches. Growth demands food. A lot of it. Luckily, the forest is alive with possibilities. Still, maybe some practice first. Every apex predator has a method. Tyrannosaurs ambush. Raptors coordinate. You? You're still figuring that part out. You aren't agile enough for aerial chases, and brute force isn't an option yet. So you think differently. Some modern animals skim the surface of water, snapping up fish the instant they touch their beaks. With your long neck, you could stay high and just dip your head down. You try it. Bad idea. Your neck isn't built to slam into water at speed. One wrong impact and everything ends. That strategy gets abandoned immediately. Instead, you adapt. You use flight not to hunt, but to scout. From above, you search. Once you spot movement, you land. Then, like a stork, you stalk through the brush and strike with speed and precision, your long, sharp beak doing the rest. It works. Years pass and this becomes routine. You spend most of your life on the ground, climbing the food chain step by careful step. Insects, eggs, small mammals, reptiles, and you grow. Fast. By your second year, you're already larger than any flying bird that exists today. By now, your wings stretch nearly 17 feet from tip to tip. Yet you barely weigh around 200 pounds. It sounds impossible, but your entire body is built like a living glider. Your wings are enormous, yes, but your torso stays surprisingly compact. Hollow bones lace your frame. A network of air sacs threads through your body, keeping you light and feeding oxygen into every movement. It's an elegant system, perfect for flight. Even so, the forest that once kept you alive is starting to feel like more trouble than it's worth. You're too large now to move comfortably through the trees. When you take off, the open sky feels incredible. Endless space, real freedom. Things are going well, until they get even better. Below you, a dead hadrosaur lies still. Jackpot. This carcass could keep you fed for weeks. You land, you tear in. Then you hear it. That sound isn't a threat. It's a claim. This territory already belongs to someone else, something much larger. There isn't room for both of you. You don't hesitate. Picking a fight with something twice your size isn't bravery. It's suicide. Before things turn ugly, you launch back into the air and disappear. Because here's the truth. Being big doesn't mean you get more. It means you need more. You fly when distance matters. You walk when you hunt, when you rest, when you conserve energy. Floodplains, coastlines, dry riverbeds. You roam them all, always scanning, always calculating your next meal. Over time, your diet becomes far more flexible. Your throat is nearly 3 feet wide now. You can swallow almost anything, including smaller dinosaurs. Not bad. Still, life on the move is dangerous. Predators are everywhere. You can run nearly 20 miles per hour on foot. Impressive, until something faster appears. That's when you take off. Once airborne, you ride the winds. Powerful air currents carry you effortlessly across the world. Days pass without landing. Then, nearly 1,000 miles later, you reach the coast. Down on the beach, you see something unexpected. A group of pterosaurs that look a lot like you. When you land among them, the difference is immediate. You are enormous. Your wings now span more than 33 feet. You stand as tall as a giraffe. Your beak alone is longer than a full-grown human. The others are barely half your size. But size isn't the only difference. They nest together, lay eggs in groups. You don't. You've lived most of your life alone, a solitary existence, and one that's worked just fine. Until now. Maybe it's time to start a family. That doesn't happen by accident. You are selective. Suitors arrive. One brings food. Another flaunts a bright, colorful crest. Others stretch their wings wide, desperate to look powerful. None of them impress you. Then one arrives who has everything. And, somehow, flowers. That decides it. This is how your family begins. Over the next few weeks, your body shifts. Time tightens. Egg-laying draws near. But first, you need one last solid meal. The process is exhausting. You and your mate find a carcass. A tyrannosaur has already claimed it. Still, together, you might be enough to drive it off. At first, it seems like it's working, until it isn't. Well, you suppose you found your meal after all. While the Rex focuses on the larger prize, your mate becomes dinner. Better that you eat him than let something else do it. Now it's time to nest. You choose a quiet forest near a stream, but once again, you're too late. Another Quetzalcoatlus has already claimed the site. So you do what any responsible parent would do. You eat their eggs. All of them. Fewer rivals for your offspring. Soon, you lay your own soft-shelled eggs. Months later, tiny flaplings emerge. Fragile, awkward, alive. Just like you once were. This becomes your life. You will lay many clutches over the years. Only a few will survive long enough to reach your size. You are the largest animal to ever fly. Nothing dares challenge you. By around 20 years of age, you've seen everything. Birds, raptors, tyrannosaurs. You've outrun storms, outlasted rivals, survived longer than nearly everyone you ever encountered. But even giants fade. Your wings don't carry you the way they used to. Your reflexes dull. Your bones ache with every launch. Then, one day, high above the coast, you feel it. A shift in the wind. A crack in your wing. You begin to fall, slow at first, then faster, and faster. And that is the end of the flight. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe.